everyone. Welcome to Unfiltered Brew. We've missed you so much, and we're so excited for our first guest of the new year. I'm your host, Nora, and this is my co-host,
Kat. Hi, everybody. We missed you.
We're gonna introduce our good friend who wears a lot of hats, and I'm gonna let him explain what he does because there's a lot that comes with him. Abbas Mandviwala, welcome to Unfiltered Brew.
Thank you so much. A long time coming. We've been talking about this for months.
I know.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that
We're
you guys
happy to
are
have you.
out and open, and
Yeah.
Unfiltered Brew is out in the ethos.
If I weren't allowed to use any titles right now to explain to our audience of what you do, how do you explain yourself to them?
That's
Without
a
using
good
any
question.
titles.
Let's just say that I like to
Man of
build
many talents
things.
here, guys.
I like to build things. That's probably an easy way to summarize it all. Yeah.
Dig a little deeper than that, though. Give us more.
Yeah, I think that I've always been intrigued, like I said, from when I was a little kid, of building stuff from scratch. So whether that be my day job or some of the other things that I like to do outside of like clinical medicine, the overall ethos is, again, how do you build something that kind of lasts, and specifically for Cleveland.
So you talked about when you were a kid. Tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you come from, because I know there's a little like
You
a
gotta go deep.
backstory.
You gotta go deep
We
all
wanna
the way
know
back?
All the way
everything
back.
All the way back.
We want to know everything about you.
You could probably tell by looking at me and my name, Abbas Mandviwala, that I am a southeastern Kentucky redneck hillbilly. Like, that was probably your first guess. So I was actually...
I was shocked when you told me you were
Yeah.
from Kentucky.
I'm a British Pakistani Kentucky boy. So I was born in England, and then we moved to the States when I was like 3.5, 4, a short stint in Detroit. And then my dad actually did part of his training in Louisville, Kentucky. And at the time, if you serve in like an underserved area, it speeds up your citizenship process. So we ended up in a small town called London, Kentucky. 3,000 people. So we went from London, England to London, Kentucky.
I forgot that you were born in London. I thought you were first generation American.
I had a British accent when I moved here as a kid. And then unfortunately,
Your
Kentucky
accent
just...
is very
You
ruined
did?
it.
American.
Thick British accent. The little girls used to love it when I was,
I'm sure they
on the
have.
playground. Yeah. So yeah, I grew up most of my life in London, Kentucky. Then 3,000.
London, Kentucky.
London, Kentucky. Yes, small
So
town
London,
Kentucky.
England, born London, England.
Yep.
Moved to London, Kentucky. What are the two?
Isn't that crazy?
A little bit of a culture change from the two, But yeah, so then for college, and then I went to med school at University of Kentucky in Lexington. So I was like, again, a Kentucky kid my whole life. I had never.
What drove you to medical school? Was it the Southeast Asian parents?
Probably
Was
some
it
of the
either
Desi.
doctor or engineer.
You got to be a doctor, engineer, or run a 7-Eleven. Those are your three options, So I kind of chose the first.
We're on 7-Eleven. Hey, I like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I love 7-Eleven, the big gulp. So yeah, so my dad was a physician, because other family members were physicians as well. And honestly, like going through undergrad, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. So I did a lot of econ finance stuff, and I wanted to do something businessy. I've kind of always been in that realm. But again, not knowing, I had to make a decision. So I decided to kind of go the med school route. And so that's what ultimately eventually led me to Cleveland.
Do you think that you were more pressured to be in the med realm more than you really wanted to because of everything around you?
I don't think my parents, the nice thing is our parents never pressured us at all. Like, again, I had the role model of seeing my dad do it, and especially in a small town and community, like a physician is like a community leader in a way. And so
a hero, yeah.
A hero, and like the respect and just being able to take care of like a small community, like it was great. And so that probably was a big reason why I went into it as well. And again, it's just been the best career. And I think medicine also shaped what was to come. Like that journey of going through med school and residency ultimately kind of led to some of the other avenues that now I'm kind of, diving deep into here.
Yeah, I think ever since I've known you, Abbas, you've had this entrepreneurial spirit. And Larry just heard you speak for 10 seconds. And he's like, look at that entrepreneur. I'm like, wait till you get to know him, Larry. Wait till you get to know him. He will turn any conversation into an idea that you can build upon. And that's what I love about you. And you're very motivational. And the way your brain is wired is, you don't meet people like that often.
No, you don't.
Who are
A little
ready-
too much chaos
ready
going
to
on.
spin an idea into a business, which I love. So
A lot of organized chaos that goes on in here. I don't know if I would wish it on people specifically, but yeah.
So tell us, you said you moved to Cleveland, so then what happened?
Yeah, so in 2015, when you apply for residency, so next step after med school, you apply to residency, and I had never been to Cleveland in my life. never been here, had kind of a negative perception of what I thought Cleveland was. Unfortunately, like a lot of people nationwide do, which would love to spend time talking about how do we change that. So I went through the match. I came and I interviewed here at KCUH and next door at the clinic. And I spent like 3-4 days here with, again, I knew 2 people here at the time. And I just like fell in love with the city. And so match day, I was lucky enough to match here. And so I moved here officially like June 2016, spent 3 years here doing my residency, then went to Chicago for a couple of years. And then on my own accord, which my friends think I was batshit crazy for, I decided to come back to Cleveland just because I like loved my time here as a resident.
Wow.
And there's just so many cool opportunities and things that you can do here. And I just think the people are great. And there's just like this new energy that I felt when I was here during training. And so, yeah, that's what ultimately brought me back. And I definitely consider myself a Clevelander for life now.
I love that because meeting you would think you're a Clevelander.
Yeah.
And like a lot of our guests are from like Cleveland, they're born here. But I love meeting people who, like myself, who's not from Cleveland and learn to love it and stick to Cleveland. And you actually left and came back. You went to Chicago.
Lived in downtown Chicago, like one of the best cities, the whole big city life.
One thing in common, we both left and we both came back.
And we both came back, yeah. And so many other people are starting to do that now. You're having the boomerangs come back, and I think that's what's feeding into this energy that we all kind of feel. Yeah.
So you talked about being interested in building something. What was your first stint at building something, or your first idea that you spun, and how did that go?
I think a lot of, and you have such amazing guests that have come on as well that built such amazing companies, and platforms. A lot of people, what you kind of do is you find a problem. So that's where every great idea starts. It's what is the problem you're trying to solve? So when I was in residency, what's kind of funny is doctors are obviously great at taking care of patients. They're very math and science. They're nerdy. They're math and science people. But no one was teaching pretty much anyone about like life. So like, how do I like pay off my student loans? How do I negotiate my first job contract? So that was the problem that we kept seeing kept coming up. And so initially when I was a resident, I built a curriculum. So it was like just a little course that you could teach residents and med students about financial stuff, the business of medicine. And then I had a friend who called me. He's like, yo, I heard you're giving these lectures. I think there's a really interesting business idea out of this. And so that's where our first startup was kind of born, Med Contracts. And so it was a physician consulting firm that essentially helped new trainees or residents, fellows who are graduating to kind of help negotiate their first contract and advocate for them and teach them the business side of life. And so we ran that. It was great. We did about 500 contracts, generated a lot of enterprise value for those physicians and colleagues, really, for me, and a lot of them were friends. And so from that's kind of where I'll say the juices started flowing that led into a lot of these different lanes that I kind of do now. Yeah. So it was just an amazing learning opportunity.
What are the other lanes?
So right now, and Nora obviously knows, she was a big part of one of our other kind of startups here. So we launched a venture capital firm called Encore Venture Labs that recently just kind of rebranded to Encore Industrial Co. And, major shout out to Andrew Rising and Mike Neesett, who are kind of the heart and soul of that operation. Have built a really, really interesting company there that I think is going to serve Cleveland well for many years to come. And then on the side, we built a hospitality group. So Encore Hospitality Group that just opened our first kind of flagship concept in Playhouse Square.
Why Encore?
Why
is this name stuck on everything that you're trying to build? What is it about the name?
Great question. So,
and how do you separate the two without confusing? Yeah.
The name Encore to me has like multiple meanings, and like me and Andrew Rising have had so many heart-to-hearts about this. So it initially started because my brother is an actor. So my brother is been a theater, stage, Broadway actor for quite some time. So my brother, when I was a resident, did a couple stints in Cleveland, in Playhouse Square at the Hannah Theater. And so when I moved back from Chicago, I also moved to Playhouse Square and into where we all obviously kind of met for the first time. So I used to see, and I started to learn more and more about the history of the theater district, which I know Craig was on, and it's just so much incredible history. 100+ years, the second largest theater district in the country. And so when I used to look around the district, I was like, this is such an amazing opportunity for not only businesses to make this their home, but also to bring a new kind of wave of nightlife and entertainment to the district. So right now, Playhouse Square is great, I think, at putting on shows, but how do you make it more of an entertainment district? And so in that realm, I think it was like, how do you create the encore to Playhouse Square, right? So the second act or the next wave of Playhouse Square. At the same time, Andrew and I both had kind of similar
Who's the
theses.
founder of Encore
Who's
Industrial.
the founder of Encore Industrial Co. and managing partner. He had just moved back from San Francisco, and he was like, he worked in private equity and venture capital at the biggest, level. And he was like, hey, I really like what you're trying to do with this idea of creating the second act or the second wave of Cleveland. And I like this name Encore. And so we just decided to kind of roll with it because it kind of signifies Cleveland's second act, or the encore of this amazing industrial heritage that we had back in the day.
Because Cleveland at one point was the hub of industrial
Oh my God.
manufacturing in America, like back when in the
Yeah.
In the 20s and
20s,
30s, when you think about like
30s,
Rockefeller and some of these big names and Millionaires Row and what Euclid Avenue used to be. So we've had that back in the day. So, and we kind of know Cleveland fell on hard times for 30, 40 years. But again, we're in this like early renaissance. And so it's, again, I think Encore kind of signifies all those things. It's this Cleveland Renaissance in second act. It's the theater
of
district of
overlap,
Playhouse
yeah.
Square. It's like a continuation of the night. So Encore, or Lounge specifically, we want it to be a stop in your night. So it just kind of was a nice unifying way. And so I'm excited to kind of see where it goes as a brand.
Yeah, and like Encore, tell us more about Encore's vision, because I met you 3 or 4 years ago and you had this vision for Encore. The cocktail lounge is now open in Playhouse Square, guys.
Yeah.
Come check it out. So you'll find me and Kat there like every other night.
Yeah.
Espresso martinis. Tell us where the vision, how it was seeded and how it grew, and were you able to bring it to life?
Probably one of the hardest things that I've probably ever done. So for background, I've like thrown parties and events
I know.
since I was like
Yeah, we wanna hear more about
16,
that.
17 years old. So social chair, and again, it's just something I've really liked to do for fun. I think bringing people together over food and drink is something that's gone on for like thousands of
Yeah, and
years,
you would
right?
know this, 'cause
Yeah.
Yeah, and
No,
Kat knows this. Like, and Billy's is the same way, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's something magical about bringing people together over a bite or over a drink, and that's where human
It's
connection.
healing. People love it. Yeah,
Especially in today's age with technology, like they want to get away from that and just talk.
Yeah.
So my thesis back then was, hey, Cleveland has a bunch of great spots around town. So you got the Flats, you got West 6, you got a bunch of dive bars and clubs, but we really didn't have a little bit more kind of elevated, intimate lounges that you would find in a big city. And specifically, selfishly maybe, for 25 to 45-year-olds. So that's obviously my age range. And I think I love going out for a fun night in the Flats, but sometimes I just want to have, again, conversation.
The heydays.
Cocktail, yeah.
The
Yeah.
heydays.
Yeah.
Exactly. So that was the original idea was, okay, could we build something in this amazing historical district? And especially since I know you guys have been there, the view was what struck me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stunning. It's beautiful.
You're
I
overlooking-
love the interior. I love the vibe.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so,
From the menu to the walls to just when you walk in, you just feel so.
yeah.
And the curation of the menu, you got to talk about that too. And Chef Logan, and how this, I mean, it's very creative, and I don't think we've seen anything like this in the city.
I appreciate that. Yeah, and again, it all
very
goes to like having an incredible team, and I think across all these ventures, the main kind of point that's been the same is like identifying people who are just really good at what they do, giving them a platform to do it, and get the hell out of the way. Like that I think is what I've been lucky to kind of be a part of. And so for Encore, again, it was cement. There was nothing there. There was no electricity, plumbing, HVAC, nothing. So we started from scratch 4 years ago. And really the only reason I was able to kind of do that is due to my partner, Ben Lyons. So Ben is a hospitality
Shout out to Ben.
genius who's run a Michelin star restaurant in New York, a 5-star hotel in Budapest, Hungary. And so he's built some other amazing places in Cleveland before, in Columbus. So we were like, okay, let's take this blank canvas with this amazing view of the marquees, and can we do something that still pays like homage to Playhouse Square while making it this like intimate lounge that big cities have? And so, yeah, we started it, kind of put it on pause for about a year, and then we met along the way just some incredible people like Chef Logan Neisel, who to me is one of the most incredible
He's
up-and-coming
amazing.
chefs,
Yep.
the most creative artistic dishes that I've seen in this area in a long time.
Visually
Oh,
I mean, the
beautiful.
cigar.
yeah, the cigar dish is a
just
great
something
example.
Out of the world. Like,
His panna
I
cotta
don't think I've ever
mold.
seen something like that.
I had never. I've seen. There was a couple places in like London, England, that I'd seen that
Like a
do
cigar dessert.
really artistic kind of renderings of these dishes. And so we had that, and then Marion Sipperstein, who did our menu, who's an incredible mixologist, who's done places in
And
California.
everything has a pairing, right, on the menu. Every drink is supposed to have a paired dessert or a small bite.
That's the experience we
idea,
wanted to
right?
create.
Yeah.
Is you're in this small, intimate place. You know, whether you're on a date, whether you're there with a group of friends celebrating a birthday, or you're a business
meeting, yeah.
trying to have a happy hour, like, can we give you an offering that you can share something with and enjoy an experience with somebody else?
Yeah.
So that was the kind of idea behind it. Obviously, we've been open 3 weeks now. Like, the feedback has been awesome. And so I'm just excited for people in Cleveland, again, no matter where you fit in those demographics, just to come enjoy the space.
So what made you, I want to know, like, okay, now we're talking about Encore, and we talked about your medical background. What made you want to be in this hospitality industry over, I mean, obviously you're still in the medical, but
Yeah.
tell me what transition, like what made you want to be
I
in
think there's a lot of
hospitality?
overlap between medicine and hospitality, and specifically taking care of patients. So I'm a hospitalist. So I work at UH at main campus, and I spent a number of years in Seidman Cancer Center, where we kind of help teach med students and residents, but predominantly we take care of cancer patients, which there's a lot of communication and empathy that I think comes along with like the word cancer, right?
Yeah.
And so it is hospitality in a way. Like, you're trying to guide someone.
Service industry.
It's a service industry, but in a really like emotionally vulnerable state of their
Yeah,
life.
yeah.
Not only for a patient, but their family members too. So it is the idea of taking care of someone like you do in the
Yeah,
hospitality
yeah.
field. It's very similar, as is throwing a great party, or, you know, opening a great martini bar, or running a restaurant or a hotel. Like, there's very similar principles, I think, in each one of those. And so that's where, again, as somebody who threw parties and events for a long time, I always knew I wanted to open a space where you could translate that from maybe my day job, we'll say, and over to, again, a passion project that, again, still has a lot of social utility. So, yeah, it's been awesome. And that's kind of where the inspiration kind of came from. A lot of the same tools and skill sets that I use in medicine, again, I think translate really well over to this side as well.
How do you manage? How do you manage your time?
It's,
How do you
again,
deal with stress?
a lot of...
I don't think I've ever. I honestly don't think I've ever genuinely seen.
I've
you
never seen him mad
stressed.
either.
I've never seen you mad.
It happens.
What is
Yeah.
What is the secret? What is the secret sauce? I need to know. Tell your girl who's an emotional wreck.
Hallie might be able to tell you. Yeah, I was gonna say Hallie might be able to tell you a little bit more. She's a big part of like my stability and peace. But
Shout out to Hallie.
Shout out.
Hallie.
I would
Our
say
girl.
I would say a lot of it's I like having a bunch of different stuff to do because it keeps my brain like
Going.
working and fresh. So again, I have this math science part that I need to do, which kind of feeds into the artistic side, and you kind of need both in order for both sides to fire at optimal
Yeah.
ability. And the other thing I'm not great at, but I think I'm getting better, is just figuring out, like, blocking out chunks of time for stuff.
Time blocking.
So I'm like very regimented, especially in like the late mornings, afternoons, where depending on what my schedule is like, hey, I'm working on this from 10 to 2, and then this, which is something different, from 2 to 6. So I think that
I
allows
think
me.
that's good
Different,
advice
yeah.
for us, especially me. I feel like when I do things, especially with the bar and the podcast, I need to set a time to do, you know, like you said, this from 1 to 2. This sometimes my days are like so clustered that it stresses me out mentally. I'm like,
But it probably like helps you do better at both of them. That you have something that are very different. I don't know why the brain works like that, but it is pretty
Right. It
interesting
does-
that a
it
lot of
does
people
help.
mention
Yes.
stuff like that. And again, you guys
my
are a
brain
great
never
example.
shuts off.
That is the issue.
Literally.
Especially like trying to sleep. I feel like there's always a million things running through my head.
yeah.
That is
I
an
know
issue.
Nora knows at like 2 in the morning, I'll be laying there and I'll be sending her all these memes. My brain just doesn't stop.
Doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't, and it's
Knowing
true.
you.
Like, you need something different to keep you going, because I have my science and
Yeah.
science-based day job, and then something completely different is on the weekends, doing the podcast, doing content creation, meeting people, joining Encore, and that was completely different from where
Yeah.
I came from. I
For
came
both
from
of
a
us.
super science-based 9 to 5 engineer, like manufacturing hands-on,
Yeah.
to learning more about the entrepreneurial side, which was what triggered the
I remember talking about this, right? When we were trying to do our small little mini podcast at Encore Industrial Co. And that's...
it led to this eventually.
Yeah, which I love. Yeah, what made you guys want to start this?
Everything just leads, everything aligns at the end of the day.
It's a domino effect, I think.
It's
Like,
definitely a domino.
yeah.
And manifestation too. You manifest.
Yeah. Well, also, I think the big thing is, and you guys are the same way about this, and I've seen you interact when you're out and about, like never take for granted, like who you're in a room with, like just going to strike up a conversation. If you're at a party or if you're at a dinner, like you never know where that might go.
Exactly.
And I think all of these things for me has been like, part of it's luck, yes. But part of it too is just like taking the initiative to say, hey, like let me go chat with this dude who's
You're
here.
taking an opportunity.
Yes.
And that's how I met Andrew. Like I met Andrew at a Cleveland Founders Happy Hour 4 years ago when he had just moved back, and we were like shooting the shit about Cleveland and how much we love it. And
so how do people in Cleveland hear about these little founders events? Where should people be listening? Where should people be reading? Are there any blogs?
Yeah.
Any articles? Where are those founders meeting? And how do people
Where
who
do
are
they
listeners
find it?
get into
Yeah.
it? If they wanted to meet someone like you and they're inspired by the work that
Someone like
you do.
me.
someone like Kat, most importantly, yeah. Where would people meet Kat out and about? Yeah.
Billy's having a martini.
Billy's Martini Bar or Encore. Yeah.
Or
So-
Encore, yes.
That's a great question.
Yeah, regular at Encore now.
I think this was actually going back to like identifying a problem, right? And so one of the problems that I personally think, I think it's gotten better, is Cleveland typically, the entrepreneurs, the builders, the people doing really cool stuff build in silos. So you'll have people doing something really cool over there in another part of the city. And they don't get that much interaction. Personally, I think groups like Cleveland Vibes are like amazing about bringing and curating all those people together. Shout out to Kyle and Katie, who I think have built an amazing organization and probably Cleveland's best
Kyle and
megaphone.
Katie, we want to meet you.
Get on the pod.
Yeah, we're gonna get.
I'm going to send you this right after.
You.
Yeah, but I think they've taken like the Cleveland megaphone of entrepreneurs and founders and highlighting their success to the next level and curating events for those specific people so they can do this
Nice,
and
that's
mingle.
cool, yeah.
So that's great. I think Jeff Stern is another great one.
He's definitely on the roster for 2026.
At Lay of the Land, and like again, he just had an event last, I think 6 months ago.
He's actually one of the first people we talked to about starting a podcast.
And he again is another one who I think has just built an incredible community of founders, creatives that all get to again mingle organically, and that's where the next great idea comes when you're just in a room over a lot of times a food and a drink.
Or in a pool, in our case.
At the end
Or the
of
pool,
the day,
yeah.
You're right. At the end of the day, I think it's more of who you know than what you know.
Yeah.
At the end, and like who you connect with and who there's a time that we might be able to help someone and they can help us. Not like in, just in a genuinely way. Like maybe they'll learn something from us and we'll learn something from them. That's how you connect and that's how you grow.
And a lot of times too, what I love the most is sometimes meeting people when there's no agenda at all. And you'll
no
just
agenda at all.
you'll just genuinely vibe with that person. And maybe, okay, they help you professionally, maybe they don't. Maybe it's just a friend you make along the way. But then that friend has a friend that they introduce you to where something comes.
Yeah.
So it's the domino effect of how that all works.
Yeah.
I'm just so glad that I was sitting at the pool in 2023 and then
Was it that
Nora
long ago?
comes
Yeah.
up and we both start talking, spilling our lives to
Tea.
each other.
The
or
unfiltered
tea or
brew.
Unfiltered
And then we both
version.
looked at each other and we're like, oh my God.
Are we
could
best
start a
friends?
podcast.
Yeah.
I literally, when I first talked to her, I felt like such a great connection. It was so natural, organic. And those are the best ones.
Those are the best ones,
Like
yeah.
The natural, organic connections are literally the best. And we just connected. Like, I mean, it was just, there's no pressure, no forcing. It was just like, okay, let's. And then since then, everything's just been happening.
Yeah.
like,
But also
in
Cleveland
alignment.
is so small. Like we all somehow met
Mm-hmm.
within the city boundaries within the last few years. Even
Yeah.
the guests that we brought on, we somehow knew of a person that knew them, or we met them in person in some bar or some restaurant, and we're all just connected so well. And that's what I love about Cleveland. Everybody really does enjoy
Connecting.
networking.
Yeah.
People
and-
are generally very supportive.
supportive,
And I think
yeah.
that's the other great part about our community is even in the healthcare space, I think you could talk about this in hospitality or like the kind of entrepreneurial ecosystem, that there's some, again, fantastic people leading the charge there. In general, I have never felt like some sort of competitive nature. It's always, how do you make the pie bigger in general?
Yeah.
Like there are other cities, and I can attest to this, like in some big cities where there's a limited amount of pie, and so everyone's trying to get their slice. But here, because we're in this like early renaissance, like everyone, I do think in generally is trying to figure out how do you make the pie bigger as a whole.
There's room for opportunity.
And everyone helps each other. That's the most important thing.
And exactly. And that's where like the grit of Cleveland, like this, the people here do have this like fire and grit and, kind of this desire to make the city better.
Everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You've talked about support. Let's talk about your family. Like, how did your family react to you opening a new cocktail bar? All your ventures.
Yeah.
What does your mom say to you or your dad when you first like, Mom, I have an idea?
In the beginning, they probably thought I was a little crazy. They probably didn't like quite understand. So again, I don't come from really a business background family. It's more, traditional kind of you're an employee somewhere. So, as the nice thing is by the time I really started, and I'd done some stuff like along the journey, but when I was done with training and again, I had a stable job and I had,
steady
again,
income.
I'm very lucky to have I was in a position with even just my schedule where I had time to kind of pursue some of this. And so my dad, like initially when I told him about med contracts, the first company, again, it was physician based. It was in like the med world a little bit. So super supportive. Some of the venture capital stuff, they're super supportive. They don't quite get it, but they're like very supportive. And my brother's a great example of that too. Like it was quite the, like, what in the hell? You want to be like an actor?
Yeah. He's like
Broadway. Well, your brother.
Yeah. So like my brother also took the MCAT and was going to go to med school. And I remember he was like a junior in college. And he was like, yo, Abbas, like, I really don't want to go to med school. Like, I really want to focus on.
For a Southeast Asian kid, it takes a lot because I get it.
You know this, right? From coming from an Arab like family household and like the pressure that is by the culture.
By the culture.
By the culture that's forced on you. So, and my parents were so supportive and, thankfully my brother now is doing great. And so in general, I think they've been overall supportive. Again, they don't quite understand all the bits and pieces of it, but, I think
sure
they've been
they're
great.
proud of you.
I think so, hopefully.
Your brother should come and tell us, your brother, he's an actor. He plays...
He's in musicals.
He's in musicals.
Yeah.
He's on Broadway.
So shout out Taha. So he is my younger brother here. So just did his first big Broadway series. So he's the lead in Life of Pi. And so that has led to some pretty cool opportunities. He was in Cleveland for 3 weeks actually in Playhouse Square. So now he's kind of settled down in New York and we're kind of excited to see what he does next.
Do you ever feel like there's competition between you and your brother?
Ooh.
Who would impress the
That's a good one.
And...
Probably when we were younger.
Yeah.
I'm 4 years older, but I'm sure there was like, he had to live up to me. I had to live up to like just the cultural pressures. So there probably like was subconsciously a lot of pressure.
It's nice to see that
both.
you're both like following your dreams,
Yeah.
And
well, again, and that's where I would give all the credit to, I think, our parents and family for just being supportive and not, ever trying to crush those dreams.
I love that. I love that a lot.
Yeah.
So what's the next big thing for you, Abbas? We've covered hospitality, medicine, oncology.
It's a good question.
Venture capitalism.
I think right now it's, I've been trying to think a lot about this. Like I'm not a New Year's resolution guy or like a big birthday guy at all, but I will try to set some sort of like grounding about what's next and what do I want to accomplish next year. I think right now, and Hallie tells me this all the time, is just like enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
So like I think right now I really want like Encore and Encore Industrial Co. Like let's just like enjoy the ride and like the things to come there. But at the same time, like you can't be a founder without in the back of your head the chaos, thinking of new ideas. So I'm really excited about some of the things that we're working on at Encore Industrial Co. in terms of like modernizing kind of industrial manufacturing companies. So some really cool things that we're in the works of there. And then for the hospitality group, we do have a next project in sight. All I'll say is
give a little sneak peek.
Edgewater Park, Battery Park, kind of right by the lake.
I love that area.
There's some cool things that we're working on there. And I think from the medicine side, like I just really, really, like I said, in terms of building things, what I like to build there is like education and curriculum. So I have a fun little course that I started this year that I'm hoping to kind of expand upon for the med school as well.
Nice.
For your
Yeah.
for
For the day job here,
okay,
yeah.
That's awesome.
So that'll be good.
So what do you do in your free time when you're not being a founder or a doctor or an entrepreneur or a cocktail owner?
He travels.
I hang out with
What
you
do you
guys. I hang out with you
That's
guys.
true.
Where'd you just travel to?
We were in France for 3 weeks, which was fun.
With who?
Yeah,
That's with who?
with Hallie, and then your good friend Craig here. So that was a fun trip overall, and getting to spend some time over the holidays there. But yeah, definitely like to travel. I'm a big golfer, so I love to
You
play
do
golf.
love to golf.
Cleveland has some of the best golf courses, especially for like a mid-sized city. Like incredible golf here. Going to sporting events. I mean, supporting the amazing food and drink scene that we have in Cleveland. You know, we have so many amazing like restaurants and bars and venues to kind of check out. So just supporting Cleveland, you know.
What's your
and doing
favorite
some stuff.
cocktail on your list?
Ooh, that's a good question. So the intervention has been gaining a lot of traction. That's our version of an espresso martini. So everything at
That's the one
Encore.
you just
I
tried.
just told you about. Yeah. Boy, be ready.
Maybe like cut it off at 2.
Yeah.
We're strong. But the pairings, I think that pairing with our Close But No Cigar, which is our kind of probably signature bite that Logan came up with, you know, I won't give it away completely because I want people to try it out. But let's just say it's an edible dish that comes out on an ashtray. And we'll leave it at that. So that's probably the most popular.
So on your menu, Opalite is my favorite. First off, it has connection to Taylor Swift. And
Yeah.
I love her.
Is that,
And
was that the inspiration
and-
behind the name?
That's all Anthony. Shout out, like
So,
Anthony D'Agostino.
Anthony's so creative. Good job, Ant. But so all the other names, is that what, do they have a meaning? What's the meaning?
They
behind
do.
all
So
the names?
everything has some sort of theatrical kind of flair to it, right? Because we are in a theater district after all. So if you kind of come, hopefully everyone, when they get a chance to come by Encore, our lounge has this mirror display wall, and all of the items are a menu you'll find up on the wall, and there's kind of a story that all of it ties in together.
I didn't know that.
So there is a lot of pop culture references, hence the Taylor Swift and Sabrina
on
Carpenter.
the
and-
wall.
On the wall.
Okay,
Song,
so there-
Yeah.
espresso.
So every one of the drinks, you'll see a corresponding picture or something to tie into the menu in the wall.
Interesting. Because
Yeah.
I was wondering why you specifically picked certain artists to put on the wall.
Again, I will give
Okay.
all credit where credit is due. Shout out to Anthony on that one.
And he's
Yeah.
your mixologist, lead bartender.
So
He's
Anthony is
the
our
general
fantastic
manager.
general manager, but
General manager,
mixology by background, a chef by background, and has brought just an amazing positive
He's
energy
great. He's
to our
like
team as well.
A face of
Yeah.
Encore, and his personality just.
And Kat was
the
so
way
great
he
too, because like
is, and-
I remember 6-7 months ago where we met to try to
Yeah.
figure out like what is that right person that could be the face of Encore, and I think
Yes.
we absolutely found it with Anthony.
You did.
Yeah.
I love him. He's amazing. So tell us. I want to know what. Okay, so you don't get stressed out a lot with all this stuff. What stresses you out?
There's definitely times I think because I'm so regimented and like especially when it comes to like deadlines or like when we have something due or like there's a project that we're trying to complete, like when we're going over the deadline, that's when I get a little like antsy. So maybe I'm a little like OCD when it comes to that, when like we're trying to get something out from a marketing PR perspective and it hasn't been done, like that type of stuff probably. But otherwise, I'm generally pretty even keel.
He really is.
But I think I've had to,
Yeah.
going back to like family
Yeah.
stuff, like
I was just wanted to know
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he's like
Is
we
there
said earlier.
anything?
He's
Yeah.
oh, there's a
stressed.
million things. A million times I get stressed. I think a lot of times it goes back to family. I don't want to say family traumas, but love my mom, dad, brother, sister a lot. They're a little bit more emotional than I am. And so sometimes I got to be like the even keel person to bring,
And you're the eldest.
And I'm the oldest. So, I think that's the part where maybe I'm able to process or compartmentalize feelings for better or for worse. Maybe sometimes it's not a good thing. Yeah. So I don't know. How do you guys deal with it? Because you do a million different things too.
I mean,
I
I'm not the best
meditate.
at it. Yeah,
I meditate.
recently, actually, within the last, since like I have to say, like it's unfiltered. So I've become very reactive in 2025. And one of the things I want to work on after going to therapy, when did I start therapy? Like mid or the
July.
summer. I started
Was it
therapy
July?
last
Yeah.
July. And one of the things I have to work on is being less reactive. And I've been playing meditation music a lot, whether I'm driving or I'm taking a shower, or I wake up first thing in the morning, I would play meditation sound music.
Interesting.
And it works. It keeps me really zen. Just ask Jack.
Yeah.
No, it works.
It works.
Yeah.
Something
And
about it.
And are these like playlists that you find on Spotify, type of stuff?
Yeah, on Spotify
YouTube.
or like nature sounds, like a waterfall,
Nature, water, yeah.
rain. It really helps soothe because I was very emotional and very reactive in 2025, and that's something I need to work on because I was doing so much.
Yeah.
And it did.
Well, I think like
Yeah.
we probably caused some of this just by the nature of like how we are,
Yeah.
right? Like you probably
Sometimes
put a
we
little.
get into our own heads.
We get in our own heads. We put
I
a
do
lot
it
on
all
our
the
plates.
Time. I get into
Yeah.
my own head all the time.
Yeah,
Like,
you're trying to do so much. Like you
Yeah.
want to be obviously successful, but you want to do a good job at everything. So it's additional stress that we put on each
Yeah.
other. Yeah, completely
While
relate.
balancing
The
family,
music,
personal.
yeah, personal life.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
especially for us growing
Yeah.
up as like Muslim background.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's a lot, you know.
Yep.
The music part's interesting. I do feel, and I don't. There's a science behind this, and I don't know what it is. There's something about nature sounds and what it does to like your nervous system.
Yep. It triggers like certain like.
I mean, it's music therapy.
Music, yeah.
Literally,
Music therapy
I mean,
is a
they
thing
have it
for.
at the hospital.
We do it at the hospital all the
Music
time.
therapy.
Music and pet
I
therapy.
remember when I worked at Cleveland
pet
Clinic.
therapy.
Pet therapy,
right.
music therapy
Pet
is huge.
therapy, music
Yeah,
therapy. They have all.
I think it like
different
triggers
kinds.
certain parts of your brain and.
yeah. I don't know if it's like.
Sometimes
I don't know.
I'll
I'm
wake
not-
up at like 4 a.m. Like I've been dealing with anxiety a lot, and like that's my thing is just to like kind of like calm my anxiety. And I'll wake up at like 4 a.m. and my anxiety, I'll like start having a panic attack. And
Yeah.
I'll just turn on a meditation, and it just like calms me down. And I go to sleep.
I think the key is to start your day feeling positive and calm. Because if I wake up feeling chaotic, and one of the things like we go back to is time blocking and ensuring that I have a fixed morning schedule. If I don't know what I'm doing in the morning, I'm going to be chaotic, stressed out. And, you know, anxiety is a cause of having to get something done that you haven't done yet.
Yeah.
That's what like anxiety comes from. Like
Yeah.
I get anxious when I know, oh my God, I got to get this done by tomorrow and it's not done yet. But as soon as I get it done, that feeling goes away. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
time blocking and setting time for those tasks.
And you do such a great job too. Like your fitness and nutrition, like you will like get a workout in.
I will.
Like that is an
most
anchor
cases,
pretty
yes,
much to
that-
your day too,
yes.
which I think is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I start with a workout in the morning or I end the day, it has to happen in at least 4 times a week.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say I will work out 7 days a week because it's not possible with how much we're doing. And I think people need to understand, like, you don't need to put so much pressure on your body. You have to rest. And I realized that over the
Yeah.
last few years. I used to work out like 6 to 7 days a week. I was
I remember.
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't do that anymore, and I'm a lot
You can't
happier. I'm a lot
overwork
happier.
yourself.
When
Are you?
I'm a lot happier when I'm not
To
putting
give your
that
body
much
just some
stress,
time to rest.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and those 2 days of rest that you give your body, you're not going to lose any work that you put in.
Yeah.
you
No,
know,
I
The
agree
gains
with you
will stay.
100%.
the gains will stay and your body will thank you. And now, like, you know, I started physical therapy last week because I have all these like pain points in my upper back. It's from years of like heavy lifting and stress and working on the computer all day. And you got to give
Stress
yourself.
does a lot of crazy
Yeah.
things.
100%.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
even with me just now dealing with the stomach issues, I've had this like sharp pain for the last like, we're not going to get into that now, but it's
Off the
literally has, I think,
I mean,
a lot
Dr.
to
Abbas
do
right
with-
here. Are you sure
lot to
you want to
do
get a
with
little?
stress.
That's where you need Dr. Poopy Pants
Yeah.
more.
I
Stomach
actually
issues,
am
get
working
Dr.
with
Poopy
Dr.
Pants. Yeah.
She's working with Dr. Poopy Pants.
He's been so amazing.
He's been great, yeah.
great, yeah. So pretty much, like, I'm very limited on what I'm eating right now until I can figure out what's going on with my stomach. Is because it's just been like,
It's all like
and
the
down.
nutrition part is so like I was chatting about this yesterday actually. It's crazy all of the like health issues that like again you really didn't see back in the day and how we're seeing it with like increasing frequency in younger and younger people. Right? And again, I don't know like the full science or like the research behind of it, but a lot of it we know is due to the food kind of that
The
we're
food, the growth
Right.
hormones in our food, the
Yeah.
MSGs.
microplastics.
Yeah,
There's like a
microplastics,
million
yeah.
different things
Yeah.
that I think that's a whole
That's
another
a whole nother
episode.
episode.
That's a whole nother Dr.
Yeah.
Poopy Pants or
Dr.
nutritionist
Poopy-
pod you
right.
can do in the future. Yeah.
Tell us what you're drinking real quick.
Oh
What's your
yeah.
favorite brew?
So
What's your favorite brew?
my favorite brew around
I'm so
town.
jealous that you're drinking coffee right now because I can't even drink coffee.
You can't drink coffee at all right now.
No, because
Oh,
my stomach.
because it will tear your stomach up. Well, this is shout out again. Playhouse Squares, the brasserie. So that you guys, I know, James Orlando
Yeah.
and what he's built at Copper Moon and the
Yeah.
brasserie inside the Bulkley building. So it is probably my favorite coffee spot in Cleveland, actually.
What
So
do you get?
I am a
What's your
pretty
go-to?
simple, basic,
Basic.
very basic when it comes just to iced coffee with a splash of cream. Nothing
Right.
too crazy.
Ooh, I like a
Okay.
vanilla
Yeah.
latte.
You're a hot. See, I don't like hot drinks.
I don't either.
I like a vanilla
Yeah.
latte ice cold
Oh,
too.
iced. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a
There's
cold
something about an iced vanilla latte that just
that hits. Yeah.
hits
get-
me
we'll
in
get
like
you
the
one
best
after one.
ways.
Yeah.
You guys should have your own
Oh, we're
brand
working
of
on
coffee.
it. We're working.
We're
on
working
it.
on a lot of
It's,
things in 2026.
I love it.
Just so everyone knows,
I
there'll
love it.
be like so many. You'll see. We're
So-
not gonna talk about it, but you'll see when it comes.
What's your advice to a young or middle-aged or any aged person who wants to get into the entrepreneurial world? How to keep pushing? How to stay motivated? How to keep your head above the water, especially in those trying times right now with the economy and.
Well, I think my biggest advice would just be, and I've had such great mentors along the way that have helped me, is like just do it. I know it's like kind of cliche and simple. Is like a lot of people I think have great ideas. They just have this like fear of like trying to execute on it, right? So just take a baby step, and that might be setting a coffee meeting with someone who has done it to get advice about, okay, what's the first step? So like if you're gonna try to like dip your toe in, a lot of people just dip their toe in, but due to fear end up backing off. Put the whole foot in and just go and try it. Maybe you fail, maybe you succeed, right? But you'll learn something along the way. That is like the one biggest piece of advice. Is it took me a long time, and it took me a couple of years, because I think I constantly was like, okay, well, what if I fail? What are people going to think? And that held me back for a number of years, especially in my early to mid 20s. And then by my late 20s, I was like, just due to constant reassurance from, again, amazing mentors, I was able to just take a deep, first a full jump in, and I kind of haven't looked back since then. The second thing, going back to what I said before, is like, just imagine that every opportunity, every interaction could be that like lucky
Like
moment,
next door,
the
open-
life-changing
open door,
moment
yeah.
that's going to start the domino effect. And so when you get invited to a dinner or to a party or to a networking event, go.
Go, don't say no.
Just go.
Yeah.
Right? You
No, it's-
never know what's going to come. And again, there was, again, going back to my personal example, plenty of times where I was invited to some stuff that, something would have come of it. Right? It might not have been instantaneously. Maybe it happened 6 months down the line or 2 years down the
Yeah.
line. But you will meet someone that might introduce you to someone that, again, could be that life-changing
I
moment.
mean,
If you don't ask, it's always going to be
yeah,
a no.
we've
That's-
done
If you
some
don't
crazy.
execute, it's
That
always
is
a no.
such a
We've asked
great-
some crazy things of people, and
Yeah.
most
You
things
have
that
to. You
got
have
them
to
a yes.
keep pushing. You have to be persistent. You have to want it. And I think a lot of the times people want these things. People want to express themselves. People want to, follow their heart, follow their dreams, but their fear gets in the way. So
100%.
they have to overcome the fear. Fuck the fear. Do it.
100%.
You know?
And I love what that thing that you mentioned for our first for med contracts, when you're negotiating a contract. Our first principle, if you don't ask, the answer is no.
Yeah.
It's always a
And it's such a
And they say
simple
that even,
point.
even
but
when you're negotiating like your job contract,
Yeah.
when you're getting an job offer, you have
you have to be your
gotta be
ultimate self-advocate.
Yeah.
No one else is going to advocate
Yeah.
for you. Like, that is on you. So ask.
because most people
Do.
don't ask.
Yeah.
And a lot
And if
of
you
It's
don't
awkward.
ask, it's a no.
If you don't
So
ask, it's a
gotta
no.
push.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and people have to understand that you're not stuck in a place. Let's say someone like wants like a raise or something, and they're afraid to ask, and you have to just ask. And if they don't offer it, there are so many other places that might want you.
At least you know you
100%.
tried.
At least you have
tried.
and at least you know you tried. And even if it's a no, even if it's a yes, whatever, you win-win. It's a win-win. So
Yeah, you can sleep at night knowing that you gave it your all,
Exactly.
which is great.
Yeah.
And I think on that note too, along with the like networking component, like the other, like I always like to leave with like practical pieces of advice, because these are like philosophical, mushy-gushy things. I think like for the Cleveland community specifically, or this could be any city, is use, whether it be LinkedIn or social media or your email, send a message to someone who has the career that you want. So if you are a restaurateur, right, and your dream is to open a restaurant, send an email to Doug Katz or to like Vinny, and they are so great that they'll probably answer and find time to sit with you over coffee to like give you advice, right? like, or they might even give you an opportunity to kind of come observe in their own successful restaurants, right? So if you want to build a company in the tech space or in the healthcare space, find someone who's done it. Send them an email, and I guarantee you 95% of the time they will respond, and you can grab coffee with them, and that will start the snowball effect.
Or if you want to open up a hot, exotic, sexy cocktail bar, Abbas will
reach
sit down
out.
with you.
I would love to.
It
100%.
is. I think Encore
you have to pay
is
it
like,
forward. You have to pay it
the vibe
forward.
is sexy.
I appreciate
I love it. I'm
It is
obsessed
a
with it.
beautiful space, and you guys will
I'm
see
gonna
us filming
move in
out of
there, and I'm
Please
gonna
do.
get sleep on that couch, and I'm gonna.
She's gonna wake up and have to
It's a
I'm gonna have an
cozy.
espresso martini every morning.
Yeah, the couch, maybe the banquette. The couches are pretty intimate and a little
Yeah.
tight for a human being to sleep
Very
on.
nice,
but
very nice.
banquette.
We're proud of you.
I
We're
appreciate
very
that.
proud
Really
of you.
And thank you. And thank you, like especially like both of you too. But like Kat, I know, especially someone who's been in hospitality for 10 years. Like along the last 3-4 years, I've like reached out to Kat several times for advice, and she was always so great.
I'm always here to help.
Yeah, as vice versa. Whatever I can do to support the pod, which is great.
Well, you've had incredible advice, Abbas. I wonder if we peeled enough layers. Is there anything else we can peel?
I told
You're
Kat.
very easy to read. You're an easy to read.
I told Kat, hit me as hard as you got.
One thing that you don't care about anymore.
Ooh, one thing that I don't care about anymore.
Or let's just say one thing you don't give a shit about anymore.
One thing I don't give a shit about anymore. What people think. So I really no, but I
People
struggle with
yak.
this. I really struggle with this for all throughout my 20s. Is like, what are people gonna say? We have a phrase in Urdu, so which is our language that we speak. It's like "log kya bolenge," which literally means, "Oh, what are people gonna say?"
Yeah.
And so I would like again be very careful about how I moved and like the things that I did or like the things that I would like, give out emotionally because I was worried about the reaction. And like the last 3-4 years, I think that's something I've been way better.
I am the same way right here.
Yeah.
I used to care so much about what people thought about me, the community, what are they going to say? Like you said, Middle Eastern, same cultural.
What was really funny on that note, I remember this is maybe 4 or 5 years ago, because I love medicine and I love medical education, right? And I never want to give it up.
Yeah.
Because I worked, I'm
You worked
proud
hard, yeah.
of the road and how hard I worked to get there. There was someone who I used to look up to a lot who like, I know there was a promotion or opportunity and they like questioned my academic seriousness of like medicine because I was doing all these other things. And it like really ate at me for a while where then I stopped and I was like, okay, I'm going to dive fully back into academia. Because that's, again, in medicine, unfortunately, it's kind of taboo to do anything outside of taking care of patients or research.
Right.
That's what you do if you're a doctor.
Yeah.
And so I then stopped. I was like, I don't want this to be my reputation. And then again, it just, once I got to like fully dive in, and again, shout out to all the amazing like partners and team members and the people I've got to learn from in all these ventures. Because then I fully was able to let that part go. I'm like, you know what? I still love medicine. I'm going to always do it. But if people, can't fully understand it.
That's what the school system does. They try to put you in one box and you start to become programmed that way. And that's how I was
100%.
programmed for the longest time. Like I couldn't get out of the lane of being an engineer. And if I was, that's like, what are you doing? Get back in your lane. You couldn't talk about doing something different when you're around your peers at work. I wanted to always do more, but they always looked at you like, why?
Yeah. That's just again simple piece of advice, but like will I think free you to do your best work.
Yeah.
And
nobody
really
has to understand why.
Yeah.
They'll question it.
It's nobody's business why you do what you do.
No, it's not just nobody's business. Sometimes they'll question, what is it for? Well, then the biggest question I get is, how are you monetizing off of this hobby of yours or this passion? I'm like, I don't have to monetize right away, maybe down the line, but it feeds my soul.
There's a lot of things that I did where I made $0.
Right, yeah.
Right. And that's completely okay. But again, it allows you to, I think, just express your own creative abilities.
It builds you as
a
a
human
person
being.
you are.
Like it allows you to learn a skill set that will be maybe valuable and monetized down the line.
Yeah.
Right.
We're all creations. I feel like we're all built to also create.
But that's where I think some of these other avenues, like you can do something with what you've learned in your degree to build something else where you can be a little creative.
I mean, you could always use that knowledge that you've learned through that in something totally different.
That's what
like you can, just like how you said, and even me having a background in medical with nursing.
With nursing.
It's like you can still, that hospitality and that service, the people, making people feel comfortable and loved, you could do that at the ber too, because there's a lot of
100%.
people that come to the restaurant that just want to talk to you because they're going through something.
I feel
you
like
know? So
a
it's
bartender there's certain like professions, like being a bartender, being a barber, or like a stylist. Like you
hairstylist. Oh my God, you're like a therapist.
You're a therapist.
You're
probably
better than an actual therapist.
Like I've told my barber things that probably no one knows. You know,
Me too.
like there's some
oh,
or a
Brian
bartender.
knows my whole life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
But I have a question.
Yeah.
If you could tell your younger self something, what would it be? One
Tell
thing.
my
If you can
younger
tell
self.
your younger self one
how
thing,
young
what
are
would
we
it be?
talking?
Like younger self.
Younger
like
self.
You know, like teens or
I
someone
know-
that was trying to figure life
18,
out.
18-year-old
Yeah.
Abbas.
I think for me, and it kind of goes back to like the upbringing part here, I like struggled for a while between like these like conflicting identities. So like, again, I'm a Pakistani British. My mom is from Eastern Africa, actually, from Tanzania.
Wow.
So I have
I
this like
didn't know that.
very diverse background, right?
Wow.
But I grew up in like, again, rural, again, white Caucasian Kentucky, Christian Bible Belt area,
Yeah.
right? So there's always this like conflicting of like, okay, I'm like, am I this or am I this, right? So my biggest advice that I would give to myself was I think I tried really hard to just, again, I was a kid, to like blend in, to be accepted as
society?
just, you know, one of everyone else, a Southeastern Kentucky, or like, that's what I would try to be. And I kind of hid my like cultural identity or all the things that make me who I am, and like, you know, that are so important to me now. So I would say probably my advice I would give myself is embrace your true identity.
How important is self-love to you through this whole process? Do you
Yeah.
think it plays a fact of everything that you've succeeded?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it goes back to I'm trying to figure out like what is the right balance of staying true to like, again, especially the Desi era of Muslim. Like there's this cultural element that like is traditionally a little bit more conservative, right? And there's things that, again, the box is pretty small. And so you should, if you want to pay respect and homage to that culture, stay within the box. But at the same time, like we grow up here in America,
Yeah.
where again, it's a lot easier to kind of step outside
Branch
the
out.
box and branch out. So the idea of self-love, I think in that regard is like, I can kind of do both,
Yeah.
right? There's ways that I can step out of the box and, you know, pursue these different passions and
And
interests
still have a
while
dream.
still like paying honor and respect to like what I came from. And so and then this is the great part I think about just getting older. Like I've been able to have those conversations with my parents like much more openly and
Yeah.
freely. And, you know, my siblings are older and like we all can share
Yeah.
these kind of moments and experiences a lot more openly.
Do you feel
which is
like
great.
you've opened the doors for your younger siblings to
I hope
step
so.
out?
Yeah, I mean,
Since you're
honestly, I think my brother like helped me, even though he's younger. Like by him, again, when he was 21, to be like, you know, I'm not doing medicine. I'm going to do my own thing of what I like. That was probably inspirational to me to then do it later on down the line. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
that's incredible.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
in Cleveland for sure. Hopefully,
Yay, Cleveland rocks.
Cleveland forever. I think it's an interesting question. Hopefully, like personal wise, you know, a little bit more settled in, and you know, maybe a little one,
A little
Maybe a
mini
little
boss,
one
little
running
mini
around.
founders,
You want
mini
a boy
doctors.
first or girl first? Are you a
No
girl dad or
preference.
boy dad?
No
As
preference.
long as
It's
it's
a
healthy,
healthy-
that's
a
all
healthy-
that matters.
yeah.
Healthy baby.
I think
yeah.
I'm at that stage of my life where that would be great.
I think you'd be such a good dad, and Hallie would be such a good mama.
I appreciate that, yeah. And then from a professional standpoint, you know, I'm still in this like really interesting like fork in the road moment of like really trying to figure it out. And, you know, I've had the opportunity, again, so much of this is like luck and fortune and to just be a part of so many different avenues and hopefully identify like, hey, this is what I really want to do. Again, I'm still going to dabble in all of them, but to identify one that's the most important and like dive all in. And I really think it's, again, probably going to be in this more building really cool venues and, you know, the hospitality, commercial real estate realm. I think that's what I'll probably dive into more full
That
time.
sounds amazing.
Well, we'll catch
That
back
sounds
up in 5
amazing.
years.
In 5 years, hopefully back on the pod here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully somewhere in where are we gonna be?
You guys are going to be
All over the
on spot
world.
all over the world.
All
doing
over the world.
The tour,
That's
the
what we're gonna be.
Unfiltered
We'll
Brew
be on a tour. You can be
tour.
backstage.
Exactly. You should do a
You'll
live.
get VIP
you should do like a
backstage
live
passes.
studio
It's
production
in the
in like
talks, yeah.
in Playhouse.
We've been actually talking.
That would be
about
very
it.
cool to do a live audience kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love this episode. This is amazing. This is a
Well,
lot.
Yeah.
Much thanks to you guys. Obviously, as friends, first and foremost, nothing but love and success
To
along
you
the
as
way.
well.
To you
in
as
2026.
well.
Thank you for
This was
coming.
great.
Cheers. It's a happy new year. I can't wait. I love that we opened up the year with you as a guest. Sets the bar really high for everyone that's coming after you.
Yes.
Right?
I feel like
Larry's
we
shaking
covered.
his head.
I feel like we covered a lot.
We did.
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah,
This
this
was
is
awesome.
amazing. And everybody that's listening right now, please, 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 I ask you to go to Encore Cocktail Bar. It's in the Playhouse Square off Euclid. You're not going to regret it. They have an amazing cocktail list, amazing bartenders, owners, GM. Definitely something you want to check out.
If they wanted to find you personally, where can they find you, Abbas?
Yeah, so you can kind of look us up on Instagram for Encore. It can be at Encore PSQ, so Encore Playhouse Square. Or, yeah, shoot me an email at abbas@encorepsq.com. Or and I have like
Perfect.
7 other emails, whichever one. Yeah.
Yay!
Thank you guys.
Thank you
much.
This is
so
awesome.
much. Guys, don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. Check us out on Instagram at unfilteredbrew.pod. We love you guys.